Welcome back to Factorio MSX Gigabase. As you can see, we are well into our faster than light propulsion systems. I'm just checking production numbers. So I think red and green are a little bit lower because that's all they need, because our consumption has been kind of constrained by two things. One, lube. There was an issue with the lube train. I don't think I have that issue at the moment. No, it doesn't appear so. But then there was an issue of space science, which kind of translated to two things. One, a misdirection on one of the trains, and an issue around rocket fuel. So I'm now trying to well, make sure we're getting enough rocket fuel. 4.1, I'm not 100% sure what is the requirement there, but purple and blue are running high enough. It looks like space science is still behind. When I'm out of the map mode, what are we getting? About 36. That's not too terrible given what we're doing. In terms of production, yes, we are doing just shy of 500,000 iron plates per minute and 250,000 copper plates per minute. Green circuits is getting a bit of a move on. These are picking up kind of nicely, but probably have further to go. Alright, let's have a look at the science stacks, see if we can, I mean, it's normally pretty obvious if there's one that's dark, that's not producing. Of course there we go, this one's dark. What are you you're missing science. You are science 7. Alright, science 7. Hopefully this one is headed to science 7 then, or will be once it gets to here. I guess we can wait and see. There's a few other things that I want to do as well, which we'll talk about in a minute once I see the science pick up and get the consumption up, because it looks like we are producing the volumes we need. I'm not 100% sure yet whether the science volumes are there, because that tends to jump around a bit. But yeah, let's have a look. Are you going to go to science 7 for me? Science 3? No, you can go to... too late. Why do we need to go to science 3? Oh, because you're actually out as well, so you're about to stop. Science 7 is next on the list. I should have checked that actually. So it should be science 7 next. These things, fuel is still a shortage. Where's fuel on the list? Up there. Let's have a look at the fuel supply. So fuel, I've actually added 2 more trains to the other facility. This one's just, I need a radar in here. But this one's just waiting for 3 trains to fill up. That must be very close. Normally it's just 1. These inserters here are the ones that are taking slightly longer. 379, it shouldn't be much longer now. For one of these to be answered, but it's not really the issue, is it? It's the bigger issue really. So that one's off. What about over here? What have we got? 3.0. This is the biggest problem with bots, is the loading and demand control. So 286. So it's this one again that's heavily compromised. And we're filling up another one, and over here what have we got? 3.1, so again I'm assuming, there you go, it's off 2, so that's 2. That should help. Still 2 more. What about up at this facility? There's nothing waiting, and yes, it's this one that I added some trains to, so all these first 5 now are getting trains refueling. The question is, are any of these others actually sitting with enough available fuel? In fact, it's not even running at the moment. Why is that? We're probably choking on petroleum right now here. Yeah, we're choking on petroleum, so that's stopping this producing fuel. Not ideal. We need more plastic to come through. It's just coal. Maybe 8 deep is too many, but it was originally 5 until we changed the design, so I'm not sure what the answer is there. Looks like the lube trains are out. They're either getting refueled or they're down here filling up this guy. Let's just have a look at these production numbers again. These two are steady at 6. This one is kind of picking up from the looks of things. I wonder, it looks actually like the 5.2 is what's constraining those, but we know that one of the stacks isn't going because it was missing space science, and we know that space science was missing fuel. These things take 40,000 each, so once it gets fueled up it can probably run for quite a while. You've got 2 trains on the way. Where are they? One is up the top from the looks of things, or is that, no, that's coming down the bottom, it's almost here. And one is stuck trying to turn up here, so they're both very close. In fact, here comes the fuel now. But there does appear to be a little bit of hold up still on the fuel turnaround from achieving our full 12,000 SpaceX science a minute, but 6,000 of space science per minute. And this, what was this again? 24? Or was it 25? 400 odd before we started the final science phase, so that's starting to tick up quite nicely as well. This one should probably get enough space science out of that to, oh, maybe not, maybe it needs these to launch as well. Where are you going? Going up quite fast. So, what did I get up to in terms of updates? I finally managed to compress this stack. As you can see, there's quite, that's a lot shorter than coming 2 more out this way and at the other side. Although this does extend further than the train, so I think from the next Gigabase we're going to try and get the train big enough so that the stack is, or so that this is directly in line with wagons, and likewise this end, which might mean we need to turn them over faster. We'll do the maths on that when we come to it. There'll also be bigger trains so that there's less of them. So I got that one up. I haven't got the coppers done though, because I was focused on trying to get our research numbers up to where we need them. How are you doing now? 20,000. You are taking your time, aren't you? I mean, fortunately it's quite a lot of minutes once they have loaded all the facilities up. It's about 12 minutes before they need to be revisited. But I did actually have a problem, and there is one of these stacks that has been massively over-delivered with space science. Which one is it? Four, 4, 6. So if that was spread around, we would be doing our 6,000 quite happily right now. Now let's have a look at yellow science. It doesn't look like anywhere needs yellow science. So yellow science is just going at whatever rate of consumption there is, basically. More or less. $74K up there. So I've basically changed this around a little bit to basically say come to this one down here. Like the default is it will drive up to here, so I lock this one if this one's open and has more yellow. So that forces them down here so that this one gets used. Now the other thing that I've been looking at is new red circuit design. So this is the kind of idea, which is cable in the middle, which will have to be fed, of course, by probably a centralized single requester chest. Then it directly supplies the two next to it. It doesn't try and supply these ones because it would need a red inserter, and the red inserters are too slow, so it just provides directly to the side, and all these others have inserters as close as possible to where the cable is, so that and these two favour this side and these two favour this side, so there's three more drawing off this passive supply chest with the shortest reasonable distance for them to travel to get the cable. And of course these things have to be requesting cable and the other two products, and you need a source of supply as well. And we may as well just use these guys. I might actually see if I can move them over. No, that gets in the way of that. What about this way? Let's try this for a second. I have an idea in mind. That should be fine, because then we can put substations in. Then it's powered up everything except these outer perimeter guys, and they can kind of get powered like that. Or, you know, we can work out something that works for whatever level of OCD we're trying to cater to. And then of course the robo ports have to fit in between, but I don't actually want to put robo ports here. So these substations would get in the way, but that would mean we'd have 8 electrical connections per block of these, which is less than if we put medium poles everywhere, because you'd need a medium pole up there, plus down here. That'd be 2 per block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So that's 8 if you use substations versus 18 if you use medium poles. Hence the advantage of using substations if you can get away with it with the fewer number of roboports that you're forced to have by having these in the way. So let's go back now and see. These numbers are slowly creeping up. So maybe we actually have, it was 7, wasn't it? Yes, maybe 7 has finally been delivered. Oops, that's too far down. This is 7 here. It looks like it's getting its stuff now. Yep. So, we should actually be doing our full 6,000 a minute right now. We're getting very close to it. Yellow will kick up when it needs to. It's more the consumption side that we need to worry about. These are getting up to the 12, so that's good. Let's see if it's working over a full minute. Not quite yet, but it should be very soon. 6,000 a minute, very good. Hopefully that remains the case, so we can focus on something else. So yes, what I'd like to do with that red design basically is come in here and rework all of the red designs that we're using here. Which might cause a problem to our numbers for a short while, but that is okay. I'll just do, well, I'll try and bleed off a stack at a time if I can. Not exactly sure how I'll do it. Maybe I'll just tell all of these request a chest to request nothing. Which means that back here I should probably tell them to request something. What are these ones requesting? Let's assume that they know what they're doing, which they probably don't. 360, 180, 180. Alright. I should have just copied it, shouldn't I? 360, 180, and 180. So all the ones that don't have cable direct inserted can have that pattern. These guys, oh, right. Using these chests is going to mean that these guys are going to have to be up here. Which, it's an interesting question to know whether the lower level of circuit network is worth the extra bot travel. I don't know the answer. I should actually benchmark it. And may well do so, but probably not for this playthrough. So we'll put all of that in, and then we'll change this so that it doesn't request any copper cable. And then we will limit the copper cable to maybe 4 stacks. And that is the sort of thing that we're after. It is slightly wider, or taller should I say, than this, which, yeah, that's a problem. That is a problem. because I don't have the room. Let me think about that while I have a sip of coffee. I guess the thing is, does our change make it possible to overlap these? Because that would give me back some space. I have my doubts because it's an exact even number. It would be 2. It would be 1 from here and 1 from here. Unless I artificially make it 3, which I potentially could do by just moving, say, these up 1 just so that they can share the same beacons. How are we doing now? Purple is good. Blue. Ah, there you go. 66666. It's not the number of the beast because there's more 6s involved. There's 4 6s. Yeah, jumping around slightly. So, right, what I'm going to do is I will blueprint this. Like so. And actually, making it slightly higher, we could squeeze these in here. So we wouldn't need let me head out to the red circuits and see what this looks like. RC1, or do we still have an RC1? I keep flicking the wrong thing. We have a PU, we do have an RC1. Alright, let's go to RC1. RC1, I doubt it's sitting in here because I haven't had reason to go to the red circuit stacks. Oh yeah, it is sitting there after all. But I haven't had reason to go to the red circuit stacks for a while, so I thought it wouldn't be there, but let's go there now. I mean, it might be that it's too hard to do this to our existing red stacks. That's okay, we can always just save it up for whatever extension we need to do, because that's the other thing I've been doing. I've been doing some calculations on exactly what we need to maintain our 665th, well, our three stacks of level 3 modules running at 220 for a long period of time. We do need to up our circuit production to do that. And so of course we will do that. Let me get out of, oh, I'm in map mode. Let me get out of that. Maybe it will go slightly faster for us. Or maybe just travelling is going to slow things down. Actually, what I should do is check my computer for the performance. So overall CPU usage at the moment is registering 22%. Some of it, of course, 22%. And I'm trying to see my CPUs. I have none of them are even up to 60%. there's 3 that are near 60%. There's 3 that are more like 40%, and the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The other 6 are basically nothing. So, yeah. And here we are. Alright. Red circuits. I'm going to take my bots out because this is more a drawing than a plopping down sort of thing that we are going to try and do to get a comparable kind of... See, yeah, the trips from the copper wire on this build is quite significant, so certainly it's not the best for bots, and even if we just squished these up, that would help. That might be what I have to do. Red, where did my red go? Come on, I need you to say red circuits so you're less confusing. So, this is what I'm saying. So it's basically that goes 1 tile too low, and this way round it catches up 1 tile. But if I made it 2 tiles, then they'd meet in the center. So I think I probably could do that. I don't need to worry about it for up here. So the other thing because this is actually optimized for 8.4, which is the 40% bonus on one of these machines. 6 machines normally, but 8.4 when you multiply it by 1.4. But it's certainly not optimized for bot travel, and that's a bit of a deal. So let's see what we can do here. I don't think these ever build up to a level where a stack inserter is required, which is why I'm using blues. So there's times when it's 2, but a blue can handle that just as easily as anything else. Okay, so how do we choke the demand on this? Let's just have a look at what our red, it's 43,000 per minute. We can get 56 to 60,000, I forget the exact number, so it should be perfectly reasonable for us to knock off one of these stacks by, I guess, zeroing the demand. How much is sitting in these cable machines? I haven't actually got them choked. I better choke them before we proceed terribly far, because I don't want zillions of cable. Okay, that chokes the cable up here. For this to work, we're going to have to do at least a block and a half at once for it to make any sense, so let's come down here as well. Keep choking these guys. And finally down here. I don't think saving the row of the beacons is particularly meaningful in terms of the overall performance. It might reduce power a little bit, because if you look at power, running comfortably at only 42. We've got 50,000 beacons using 24.3. It's more than half of our total power demand. So we might save a tiny bit of power, but we don't really need to. Now, the other thing that we can do, and probably should do, we don't even have buffer chests at the moment, is just zero all of that. And we want to do that to all of these things. I probably should... Oh, I don't want to copy the... Well, I could copy the row and just copy the chests, couldn't I? Leave everything else alone, so that would work. Blueprint. Now all we're copying is the blue chests. Whoops, that is useless. I clicked on the wrong thing. Right, let's do that again. They stopped very fast, didn't they? Right, I don't want those. I don't want those. I don't want those. Don't want those. Don't want those. Don't want those. There. Now 3 more rows of that. Rotate, rotate. Does it work now? Rotate, rotate. Try it down here. That should have pretty much all these machines dying. Okay, it looks like we're committed to this plan now. Whether we want it to be or not. So let's see what we can do. So I've got 13 rows of machines. It's down there, good. Better keep those. Total number of chests might go up, I'm not sure. I'll leave those, I'll leave those. Let's do something like that. Let's swap this over to powered up mode. Alright, let's do it. Let's see what happens. We've got how many red circuit machines here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 13, that's 35, that's 70 if these are square. Well, 35 up here and 35 below. This one is 8 per, so 4 8s are 32. Wow, really? 4 8s are 32. If we go 5, we've actually bumped up our production, which is probably a good thing in the long run. Alright. Ouch. Incoming ouch. Auto trash, we need to make sure we're not auto trashing those things. Oh, actually we probably could auto trash some of those. Yeah. So, 5 then. How many beacons wide are we? There's the 2 at the ends overlaps. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 beacons wide. So it's basically 35 beacons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Does this end up being wider? We might not get this perfectly balanced, but we might just have to put up with that. Let's do something like that. Which means that we'll have to get rid of... was it that? No. What was that one? Oh, of course, I can't do anything. We're going to have to place some of these directly ourselves. And just a moment. Still school holidays, so yeah. What I really need is some of the chests to go down. Oh no! Alright, auto trash my stuff then. Whoops. Now this should fit like so. Two. Three. And one at each end, I guess. 4. 5. That looks like it's round the wrong way, damn it. There you go. Oh, it looks like we need to remove a little bit more here. So that we can place this one down properly. then we need to backtrack through here and remove okay, so this was one, and I think this one. No, that doesn't quite work out, does it? 1, 2, 3, 4, so that one has to go, and then this should work there. And then these need to be picked up, actually. So that this can do that and that, and we can fill in the beacons that we picked up, or we can do it when it lets us. Do I even need beacons out here? I don't know. Starting to pick up a whole bunch of those little guys, which we don't want, of course. Okay, over here. What's that? Something we don't need. Robo ports. Are we out? Oh yes, because we've actually used... This is a higher capacity system than the one we had before. So I need more production modules. By a little bit. So, guys, that's the general idea of the revised Red. I don't mind increasing our capacity a little bit. We'll need it when we get to the final phase. I'm going to pause here, possibly even stop here. We'll see how we're going. But duty calls as far as the final day of school holidays goes, so I will see you soon. And welcome back to our crusade against things not working well. This is what I have done. I've basically finished off this setup. Let's not look at that one. Let's look at the one up here, say. So the key thing is we shouldn't see coil being carried any long distance. They should just go in this near group. The other thing, I guess, is we are still slightly too short with the carriages for this setup, but I've calculated out this setup, and so I didn't want to drop, obviously, reduce the total amount we were producing before. So we're actually producing slightly more now. When I've done both stacks, it'll be 70,000 odd that we'll be producing, which is pretty good. And we are moving down to the next stack to apply that, because it's not too hard to do. Where exactly am I? That's processing units. I'm over here, right. The other thing is I have been working on the mod in closed alpha, and the train mod I'm talking about. SpaceX has had a little bit of makeover as well, and there will in fact be another release of SpaceX very shortly. So watch out for that. Exciting things there. Yes, the requests... I found a bug actually in how I was handling the requests. So there's basically two ways trains can respond to a request. It can come about, and then a train will be sitting there, and it will move off immediately in response to that request. Or a train can arrive in the station where there's an open request and deal with that request. But I was finding the former is actually creating requests when it kind of shouldn't. So we are getting, or were getting, an over saturation, sometimes a duplication of supply to the same station when it's not really necessary. Like that's Science 7, and it already has 21,000 still, so it shouldn't really be sitting here. So I've done a small change, a small logic change that should fix that. And so we shouldn't see double deliveries anymore, we should only see single deliveries. I also have a more advanced version of my update to the mod, which is going to change how we do these stations. So they won't just be normal stations, they'll actually be publisher stations with a locked train counter connected to it, because you're going to need that every time you put one in, and I can track them a little bit better if they're kind of all as one unit. So that's how it's going to work in future. It looks like we must be doing our 6,000, or 5 seconds is a little bit hard. On 6 seconds, basically close enough. What about a minute? Slightly low on a minute. Oh, sorry, 10 minutes, but on 1 minute, we're basically there. So that's good. These numbers sort of jump around a bit. It's hard to keep them under control, but we're in the ballpark of where we want to be. Unfortunately, UPS wise, we're somewhat removed from that. So what I want to do is basically deal with the balance that we have here, and then proceed to move it. But if it's going to look like that, it's going to be pretty hard. Maybe the red circuits need a greater draw. What are we drawing on red circuits? 41k or 49k per minute. We can do better than that, so I don't know what the story is there. This is starting to drop now, it would look like. Maybe it will even vanish altogether, which is good for the performance of the mod, to have that list relatively small. What are we looking for? Space science. How are we going? It looks like we are still light fuel. But there must be fuel on the way. 2 there. And 2 here. Or 2 more there. Satellites getting close to 28,000. It will be in the 30,000s by the time we have done this. So that's good. I'm not really sure what more to add at this point. I guess the episode has probably been going on long enough. Maybe what I can do is, I guess we need to do that containment on all of these patches, because yeah, they're all a little bit out of control. But otherwise, at least these ones are being used. It's a lot better, isn't it? So, I mean, I guess they use from down below in priority. Down below as in the ones closest to where the trains are stacking. So as we get there, the volume of cable and things is reducing, which is good. wrong here? Have I not actually cut these other ones off? That'd be typical, wouldn't it? Oh dear. That's better. Well, anyway, guys, I'll fumble around here a bit longer and try and get this sorted. What else I'll try and do is, I do still want to sort out the copper, squeezing it up like this. And we'll probably do an episode on me trying to sort out the green circuits. Either that, or I might do it offline, because I guess blowing up this and building up towards our final circuit push could be more interesting than just endless revamping of this, but I will certainly revamp this and maybe highlight it in the next episode. Anyway, thanks for joining me, guys, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye for now.